Live and direct, baby. Hope you guys are doing well. It's hump day. We're going to be mixing in Logic Pro 11 because that's the latest version of Logic Pro. I am working on a track by Maudlin Strangers. It's called Under My Skin. It's kind of a hybrid rock, pop, dark, vibey, super vibey kind of rock vibe, kind of cross genre. Okay. So if you're here right now, say what's up and don't be a creep. You know, I don't like to talk to myself on the camera. I always think that's kind of weird when I'm live streaming. But also, if you guys have any questions along the way as I'm working, please drop them in the chat. And just to start out the live, because I never really ask this, which is really kind of stupid on my part, but I like to ask who here considers themselves, a novice. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I've never mixed anything before that I like. I don't really know how to mix very well. Who here considers themselves like pretty decent at mixing and pretty decent at producing and, using Logic or whatever else? And then who here is a professional who makes 100% of their living off of music and producing, mixing, mastering, writing songs, whatever. I'd love to know that. So just let me know in the chat if you feel comfortable sharing that information. But it's Wednesday and I don't know what you guys have been up to, but I've been working my ass off and hopefully you guys have too. I've been loving it. I got a lot of cool projects I'm working on. I've also been working out twice a day. I've been eating super clean. I've been doing a bunch of crazy shit. So I'm feeling pretty good. My energy level's really good right now. Obviously I always got some coffee, some coffee on deck. Love the coffee. And my mixing routine is usually about 3 to 6 hours a day of mixing and producing. So that's kind of like in between the two. I try not to do more than that. And the reason being is because I feel like most of the time when I'm wandering around, like I'm doing other stuff or I'm working on other stuff, I'm kind of producing in my mind and I'm solving problems with like mixes and client notes in my mind, which is kind of a burden and it sucks, but it's also kind of a good thing because then when I finally sit down to mess with the mix, I know exactly what I'm going to do next or what I'm going to try. Sometimes when you're sitting in front of a mix, that thing doesn't come to you. You're just kind of stuck and you're like playing with stuff and you're experimenting. And I don't really like working like that. I like working in fits, like hour and a half, 2 hours, 3 hours, and then step away from it and come back to it the next day or whatever, maybe just later in that day. But I kind of put this one off so I can live stream it with you guys. So let's get back into it. So again, we're in Logic. I'm going to break down what I've done since last stream because last stream we were working on drums and there were a lot of problems with the drums. I was like, oh God, the phase and all this shit, right? So I have the drums here. I took the drums out to a drum mix bus, which has the NLS buses that I got from Jason Joshua. And then I'm going to bus 41, which is the drum master bus. Okay. Also kind of inspired by Jason Joshua's workflow, but because this is a pop rock kind of vibe, it's a little different, that's this here. I color all my drum stuff this kind of brown color. And then I color my basses yellow and any augs, returns and stuff like that. I'm going to color like magenta and all that, but I'm going to get through that. I'm mixing on the client's actual session that they produced on and everything. So this makes it a little bit different than my normal workflow, just so you guys know. But what I've done with the snare and the kick is really important because those two things were really bugging me like crazy. So there was this snare top and a snare bottom mic, right? So I aligned both of those mics because they were out of phase completely. And I used auto align to do that. Right. So this is just like an incredible tool and, something I use all the time. And it's pretty affordable for what it does. It's a very powerful plugin for aligning phase. So I have the snare top and bottom. I used that to align them. And then I also aligned the snare sample. So I used Slate Digital's Trigger 2, and I got that snare sample all aligned. And then I took the snare bottom, the snare top and bottom, and then the snare sample, and I bus those all to the snare bus, which then goes to the drum mix bus, okay? So that has omnipressor on it, which is an incredible tool. It's an exciter and it's a compressor, either or, depending on what you do here. So you can see the function here is either compress or expand. So you go left counterclockwise to expand or compress. Just a really, really cool plugin, and based off of a hardware unit that is insanely cool. Primavera by Pulsar Audio, which is also, the tone on this is just killer on the preamp drive. And I'm just using that for the preamp. Okay, and you can change between the spring reverbs and stuff if you were using the reverb, but I'm not. I'm just using the preamp drive. Okay, and that's on the germanium setting, not the tube. I think that's germanium. I'm not sure, but you know, I'll figure that out later. It sounds better to me on the snare. And then this Lexicon 224 classic drum reverb, right? The 224, the 480L, they are kind of like the sound of rock and roll for like decades. Let's be real. 480L is probably on more things than anything. The SSL consoles actually made a spot on the console for the 480L controller, right? And the 480L unit is actually pretty big. It's like that. It's like a huge piece of computer, right? Nowadays, we have that all modeled in the UAD plugins, and Lexicon also makes their own plugins, and all sorts of people model the Lexicon stuff, which is incredible. And then we have the kick samples. I've replaced the kick sample. I think you saw that on the first live stream that I did, where I triggered it with Trigger 2. And then I had some transient master on here, taking down a little bit of the sustain so that we don't get that kind of double kick thing that was happening, which happens a lot on kick drums where it's like, it's the front and back head kind of vibrating. It's a resonance, right? And it's those heads being kind of out of tune with themselves. And then they just kind of give this like flop back. So I kind of take the sustain down on the kick inside and outside. All right, so here's what the drum kit and the bass all sound like together. Now, we're not taking anything else out through the mix bus at all, but all of this is ending up through the mix bus. So we have all the drums. Snare is going to its own snare bus, which I just showed you, but then all the drums are going to a drum mix bus right here. And then they're also being bused from that drum mix bus to the drum master bus. And then that drum master bus is going to the all drums bus, right? Which is, let's see, I'm going to find that. That's right here, all drums bus. And we got to figure out what the fuck is going on here. I don't know why this is doing this. Like, why can't we get all of our buses together, right? Let's see, is it something to do with... Maybe that did it. I don't know, but this drives me crazy. Should be able to pull this over. Nope. Yeah, it's annoying as hell. So anyway, so I have the all drums bus right here, and the all drums bus is then going to end up at the master augs, which is bus 43. And on the master augs right now, all we have is the God particle. And it's doing very light limiting, 4.5 dB or so. This right here, which is like a harmonic distortion, that's all it is. It's like driving a console, pretty much. And then a little bit of mid boost and low end cut. And then, yeah, we're just kind of mixing into this for now. And we will add other stuff to the master bus, but for now, that's all I'm using. And it's just the drums that are going to the master bus right now. So if we listen to it, and the bass, I'm sorry. So the bass is also going through the drum mix bus, as you can see. Not this bass chorus, it looks like, so we should probably bust that there. So it's bus 40, and we'll take that there. And this is kind of like the beginning of a mix for me, drums and bass, right? So here's the drums and bass. Without further ado, let's solo them out.
Prayed to God
Sounding pretty great. To my ears, they sound really punchy, fat, but also have some good definition, which is really important. So going to the reference, bouncing to the reference. Remember, this is just going right out the stereo out, and I'm paying attention to the drum tone.
Prayed to God.
Okay, much happier with what I'm doing with the drums. They sound more impactful up front. We're getting some punch and some push up front, which is great because that's kind of also where we're trying to set our level for the final kind of mix, right? So that's kind of where we're setting that stuff. So if you want to, you can look at your master augs here, and you can also take the master augs and make a track. Just hit create track or Control T. All right, and I don't know why don't do that. X. All right, and then now on the here we have the master augs right here in the arrangement window, which is really nice. And what we could do here is we could look at the God particle and see where we're hitting. You could go to this little wheel here and make sure you're metering short-term LUFS and peak. You could also have an oversampling here. I'm just going to do like a 2x oversampling. That's not going to matter too much on playback, but it'll matter when we make our bounce. You know, it takes basically the distortion, pushes it up, any aliasing or anything way out of the audible range, and then when we make our bounce, then it'll resample it. And that way we kind of get rid of aliasing artifacts that might happen with any distortion harmonics. All right, so here we go. So this short-term LUFS and peak, we could see all that right over here. Right, really nice to be able to meter that, but because we're doing drums right now, and because I'm really like focusing on the kick and the snare, you might want to go and meter the RMS and peak, okay? So now we could see RMS and peak on the input and the output and figure out a really good gain stage for us to get that the drum kit at a certain level so that we can then mix from there. And I like to have a little bit of headroom, but I like my peak of my kick and snare to be hitting right around like -5 or so, right? Just gives me some headroom to then put in the vocals and then wrap in all the instruments and everything. All right, here we go, Michael B. Okay, move those aux channels. You'd have to right click on them and create track out of it. Then in the range window, you'll be able to move them where you want. I got you, okay. Yeah, good call, good call. Good looking out, bro. So pretty much what you're saying is I have to actually create a track with that. That's so stupid. I hate that. Sorry, that's like the dumbest shit ever. But it makes sense. I get it. All drums will make also for the I kind of work this way in Pro Tools anyway, as far as like workflow goes. So I'll do that anyway. Okay, so create track, drum mix bus, drum master bus. Oops, not VCA. Didn't want to do that. Doesn't matter though. We're gonna create track. All right, and now, God damn it. Okay, so now I have my all drums, drum mix, drum master. This is better for you guys as well, so you can actually see the signal flow. I should do the same thing with the snare bus as well. I forgot about that. That's a good point, man. Like I'm always like flipping between the mixer and the arrange window in Logic for some reason, but in Pro Tools I'm always in the arrange window. I don't even think I ever open up the mixer, to be honest. So let's take the snares as well and the kicks. So we'll create tracks for these, and then we can kind of see all of our drums laid out better. Okay, so snares, kicks. So the snare, I'm gonna call this snare mix bus. And this would be kick mix bus. Or kicks. I don't know, it doesn't matter. All right, so kick, this is where my kicks are going. They're being married there. And then my snares are being married here. And they're both, you could see, going to bus 40, which would be my drum mix bus. And then that's going out 41 to the drum master to the all drums to the master augs, okay? So great, thank you for that. Appreciate that, man. All right, so now we have the master augs at the top, and then we have all these drums. This is really what I'm working on right now is the drums. And when we go to the master augs and we look at the God particle, and now we're metering peak and RMS. So let's check that out and try to set our gain staging. And like straight up, I think it's just because I've done so many mixes. That's hitting like -5 exactly on the input for the kick and the snare. And it's probably the snare that's louder, right? But you can see -5. So that's my peak right there. I don't want to touch anything here. This is perfect. It's great. Awesome gain staging. Now, if you want on the God particle, because that's at -5, you could set that back to 5. So now it's limiting 5. So let's see. Right, and we're getting sub peaks up there at like -4.3 and shit, right? So fine, cool. We don't give a damn. As long as we have some headroom and it sounds nice, it's getting there. This is the drums and the bass, remember? So we are getting a little bit more oomph because the bass is in there. So now let's start to put in some other stuff. For example, the lead vocals I think would be next, but because we have these intro effects and stuff, I want to get these bussed and I want to put these somewhere. So the effects swell bus looks like he's got going on here. This is going to the stereo out. So what we'll do here is we will take this and we'll say, let's put this into a bus, a new bus. So we'll go into 47, sure, sounds great. All right, and then we're going to call this the effects mix bus because he does have quite a few effects and swells and things like that in here. And then the effects mix bus would go to all effects bus, right? So we can do an all effects bus. Yeah, why not? That sounds good. I think about organizationally and like where I would put plugins and things like that. So that's going to bus 48. So let's go to bus 48 over here. And we'll call this all effects. And then the all effects goes to the master augs. Okay, so that is going to be bus 43. All right, and now we have an effects bus here. I'm going to again make that, or sorry, god damn it, why did I create a VCA? Keep clicking the wrong one. Create track, okay. So now we have the all effects bus and VCA 2 is what they're going to call it. That's funny. It made a VCA. Okay, I get it. All right, so all effects. I don't do a whole lot of mixing in Logic Pro, by the way. Not at this level. I usually do it in Pro Tools. So all effects here. For all the effects stuff, I'm going to color these like a, I don't know, maybe a purplish something, right? Like this kind of vibe. So yeah, we'll do that. That's cool. So now we have all effects, swells, everything like that is going to be going there. And we can then color this intro effect as well. Same thing. I'm just kind of organizing this so that I don't get lost. Because that happens a lot when you're mixing. You get lost. And if you get lost, you kind of waste a lot of time and energy and effort and shit, right? Because it's tough. Shit gets like clogged up and weird, and then you're like, oh, where's that? And then, you know, you lose 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, 20 minutes there, etc. So I'm going to create a track here, go to the effects mix bus, and we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to color that this. All right. So now we have the effects mix bus, all effects, and we're putting the effects below these. And then we know that this is going to go to the master augs. Okay. So now we have these effects and they're now being routed through the master augs. So let's set a level for those. All right, great. And the next thing I would bring in is these guitar swells. So the guitars need to go to instrument mix bus and then an all instruments bus, right? So that's kind of what we're doing. We're kind of designing the bus system while we bring in new elements, because you do have background vocals as well. It looks like some shh. Yeah, I don't know. These are probably like rhythmic shh, that kind of thing. But guitar swells are really, really important to this intro, as I can tell. So anyway, before I go on, I want to ask you guys, who here considers themselves like a novice, like does not know much about mixing, mixing, production, like you're new to it, you know what I mean? Like, let me know in the comments who I'm talking to. Who considers themselves like, I know my way around shit, and I'm pretty good, and I have 30,000, 50,000 monthly listeners on my Spotify. I do pretty well for myself. I make some side income with mixing or producing. I'm a part-time producer mixer. And then who here considers themselves, or is, there's not a consider yourself, there is the professional level where you are making 100% of your living from mixing, mastering, producing, that kind of thing. That's how you pay your bills, 100%, and you do well. Like, and you've been doing this for a while, and that's this shit. Like, who am I talking to? That's really like what I want to know, because I want to make sure that I'm not getting into like super nitty gritty detail. If people here are like, bro, I'm like 30 hours a week. I'm making good money with music. I'm doing this. I really want to know. All right, so we got the Legally Blind Jedi. I'm a hobbyist hoping to shift into side hustle pro thing. Any advice? Did you go to school for engineering? Yes. So I actually have a degree in sound. I got my degree from a college in the Bay Area here in California called Expression Digital Arts. It was a digital arts college that did direct hiring pools into like Pixar. It's right by the Pixar campus and everything. Before I even went to school, I had about 10 years under my belt making music, being in bands, writing songs, playing drums, playing guitar, multi-instrumentalist, doing all sorts of shit. But it was pretty much a hobby, for the most part. I'd sell some music every once in a while, like CDs and things that, like shows and things like that. But that's it. So once I graduated, I moved directly down to LA. When I was in school, I was working though. I was working, I'd say part-time, with music and making money off of it. So I was like recording, mixing, mastering, writing songs, producing for people, selling beats, all sorts of shit. And I also was doing voiceover. So I had a voiceover career. I wouldn't say career. I'd say it was like a part-time job, but I worked on like, stuff for Pandora Internet Radio. I had full contracts and stuff. And then I was doing post-production, sound effects, work, all sorts of shit. Anything I could to get by in school, making money with music, or at least being in Pro Tools or Logic, in front of a microphone, etc. And then I moved down to LA. In between all of that, I moved to LA after graduation, and that was about 13 years ago. And ever since then, I've been working professionally in music, making my living 100% from it. So, yeah, it's been a long journey. It's been about 25 plus years making music. It's been about 15 years making money in music. So, okay. So, what else we got? Philippe, A, for sure, bro. Could you talk a little bit about the Song Formula program? Yes, the Song Creation Formula is my baby. I'd say it's probably the best learning experience possible for anybody. But the reason being is because not only do I like break down like videos of making a song from beginning to end, which are all included in that process, but the monthly challenges are where all the value is, right? Because I do challenges in a group where I live stream every day, making a song from start to finish with you guys. And I do that for 2 weeks. So that's a 14-day challenge every month. So I try to do 1 to 2 of those per month. And that's just like, people just get better and better and better. Because like what I believe in is like learn, practice, teach, right? So you have to like learn the shit. You have to actually put it into practice. You got to take action on the stuff that you're learning. So actually making a song and doing the things and going through the steps and then teaching that stuff to other people is really powerful because it ingrades what you're learning. So I also, in the song creation challenge, I have people doing like, content stuff, like making content around them making their songs, going live. Like these are actual things that are required to stay in the challenge or else you get booted. So it's really funny because I'll have like 30 people start a challenge and I'll have like 3 people finish it. So just shows you how little people actually want to go through the actions. A lot of people talk a big game. Let's say that. I am working with friends by taking the producer mixer role. Tend to push people to finish writing process quickly in a flow. Is this an optimal action? I tend to push people to finish writing process quickly in a flow. I'm not really sure what that means, but I'm imagining you're saying like I'm trying to get people to write a song like within a sitting or be in the session and write the song. That's cool. I don't see anything wrong with that, but everybody writes differently. Like, for example, I am a producer and I come from an engineering and production background and composing. Like I've composed tons of stuff you guys have probably heard. I've composed stuff in the Lego movie, a bunch of different big movies, TV shows, tons of commercials. You've probably heard my music and you don't even know it. Literally, I worked on like 3 different ringtones that are on your iPhone. So that's the funny thing. Like, when you work in music, you're like, oh yeah, you've heard my work. I guarantee you've heard my stuff before. Which is kind of fun and cool, but your name's not on it. It's not like ringtone, credits. Nobody gives a fuck, right? But what I would say is everybody's process is different, right? You can't push people into one process. You can't be like, this is how you write a song. You have to do it this way, especially like the best songwriters in the world. To me, sometimes they sit down and they can write something in 15 minutes that's like fucking hit song. And sometimes it's 15 months, right? So every song's different. Everything's a little bit organic. And music is organic because it is art. It's a workflow. It's art. It's creative. Finish work quickly. But then, bro, like there's certain parts, and I don't know if you're a bro, but there's certain parts of the process where it's not quick, no matter what. It doesn't matter. Like people act like it's quick. It's not. Some people in the industry like to stroke their own ego. Let's put it that way. But if people are speaking real, you have songs where you sit down and like you could sit in a session, write 3 songs. They're not done. You know what I mean? Like they're not finished. They are written. Big fucking deal. Now they need to be produced, arranged, stacked, harmonized, etc. There's so many other processes. Now engineering, you got to go through, you got to edit and take out breaths and pops and clicks and anything else and headphone bleed. And then you got to go and like align and pocket the vocals and do all this other shit. There's no like, oh yeah, we just finished shit so quick. That's not how it works. And honestly, that microwave music isn't doing it's not doing well anymore. It used to be where like you could just like get a beat off YouTube, rap on it, write on it, whatever, blah, 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 drop it, and like, just like flood stream, SoundCloud. And it's just, that's not the way it's doing it. There's 100,000 plus songs being uploaded every day. You're competing with so many people. You better make sure your shit's top level. You know what I mean? But I'm not saying that you don't want to work fast, because sometimes you do want to work fast, but sometimes you don't. It just depends. I can't give you like a hard, fast rule to that. Because like I said, I've been in sessions, 15 minutes, you got a hit song. And you're pitching it, and then like an artist gets on it that's really big. Other times you get in a songwriting session, you may write one song really quick. It's a piece of shit. Nobody likes it, right? But you get it out, and then you get to the next one and the next one and the next one. And then you have like 3 fragmented ideas or demos. And then usually I look back at it and I'm like, yeah, this needs improving. That needs improving. Working with the top people in the world, you're usually working in groups. So it's not just one songwriter. Like, let's be real. This is how it really works. You have 3 or 4 people in the room. You got a producer, engineer running the shit. You got maybe an A&R there giving some like suggestions and stuff, or a music manager or something. And then you have like 2 writers. you know, just to start it. And that doesn't mean that it's not going to end up with 3 to 5 writers on the record, because then, you know, you got to credit the manager or the A&R because they put input into the writing session. They gave this suggestion, talked about the story. The producer engineer started to write as well as part of that group. And that's how things happen fast when you have a group of people, because it's like a mastermind. People are bouncing off each other. Yeah. And then what if it's this? And then, oh, I got an idea. And then a lyric. Let me get on the mic real quick, you know? But when you're doing it yourself, it takes a while, and that's okay. Take your time with it, especially when you're not skilled. You know what I mean? Anyway, that's what I got for now for that. I don't want to get into like a huge Q&A session. Unless you guys got any other questions. I'm here to help you guys for sure, but I do want to work on this. All right, so we got these guitar swells, and this has a guitar swell bus, which makes it pretty easy to route. So we'll take this to a bus, and I'm working from the client session, so it's kind of a mess for me. For them, it's probably fine. They're like, yeah, dude, this makes total sense. But this is going to be instrument mix bus. And then, of course, that's going to go out and going to an all instruments bus. And then that's going to the master augs. So hopefully you guys are getting that workflow by now that I have here. So this is all instruments, right? And then that's going to go to 43, which is our master augs. Okay, and then I'm going to color this. Instruments, I usually color this blue color, okay? So, and I know the guitars are red, but I sometimes will take guitars out to a guitar mix bus, and then that guitar mix bus will go to instrument mix bus. So that's so I can control the guitars a little bit more. And that all depends on what I'm doing, right? So I'm going to take this, I'm going to create a track, and then I'm going to go to the instrument mix bus, which I don't know where that's at. There's an all instruments. Let's highlight it here. Yep. Boop, boop, boop. And then this is, okay, so there's some other guitar stuff here as well. So 49 here, instrument mix bus. Yep. See if we can get that guy. Instrument mix bus. And then we will create a track there. Go back out and color this guy. Instrument mix bus. We'll color this this blue. Right? And now we have instruments to all instruments. Instrument mix to all instruments, and then that's going to the master augs. Okay, so now we have at least those intro guitars here, this guitar swell bus, all routed to the master augs, which means everything's hitting the master augs there. Now let's see if we have any of these other guitars. All instruments, instrument mix, we'll put those above this. And we will take these other guitars, the dirty guitar, bus sum, solo harmony. Okay, yeah, so these are all guitars. And see, I colored them red, which really helps me. So I can see everything clearly that those are guitars, right? And then I can grab all these, go X, and take all these, because they're all going stereo out. We want to go here to the instrument mix bus on these as well, right? Now we're taking all of our guitars through the mastering, master augs, etc., and that's where our mix is ending up. The only thing left is the vocals, right? So now let's take these vocals just so we can get them routed and we can hear everything going through the mix bus, because that's where the glue happens. That's where everything happens, right? Let's take all these and hit X. The reason I hit X to go to the mixer, but also to check. See this? I can see that's going to bus 34. What the fuck, right? So I can't take those out the stereo out because I might be screwing up something he's got going on with his routing going to bus 34, where he's using compression, distortion, reverb, etc. for the background vocals. So I want to shift click or command click, these, so I can unselect them, deselect them, and then just these vocal groups and bus sums, etc., should be going to another bus that would be our vocal mix bus, okay? So I want to make sure that I keep his routing in place still, because I don't want to collapse his mix. That's going to be a lot more work for everybody. Okay, so there's that, and we're going to call this Vox Mix Bus. Okay, and then that Vox Mix Bus is going to go to all Vox. We're getting this now, right? And that all Vox is going to be this hot pink as well. And then that's going to go to That's right. Bus 43. Master aux. Okay, so now we have everything routed besides any of this stuff. So this is all like parallel effects and shit, right? So we have to figure out what those things are, and we will as we go, because I'm not going to spend the time just like trying to chase those down right now. It's just not even worth it to me. So I can look at what we have here. This is the guitar swells bus, and we have guitar swells, and those look like they're going to no sends there, which is great, right? And we can just start to hear that.
To God, I've never prayed to God before. I made my bed, so now I'm sleeping on the floor.
Cool. Everything's starting to come together a bit, right? So now we have this background and I noticed in his mix, these are up pretty loud. And these are going here to the sum, and that bus 51 going to the Vox mix bus. So on the Vox mix bus, I want to keep everything kind of together and glued, but I'm not sure that I want to include these because they don't seem like vocals. They seem more like drums, like a percussion element or something, right? I mean, you know, they work fine through the vocal bus, but the minute I start adding compression or anything else to the vocal mix bus, those are going to be affected with it. And do I want that? Probably not, right? I want like the lead vocal, maybe the backgrounds, doubles, harmonies, etc. But I'm not sure I want to go like, oh yeah, I also want those, you know, that might fuck everything up. All right. You guys have any questions? You good? You feel like you made it through that little exercise of routing some shit? Oh, man. Guitar performance, nice. Learn live sound and then recording. Albums for friends, my own recordings, but it's a side hustle. Yeah, these videos get pretty deep. I might go pretty deep and technical into this, but, you know, I'll try to like also add some value for people that are, you know, not super heavy on the engineering, you know what I mean? Did you get the Kiev plugin? No, I haven't. I don't know what that is. I'll have to check it out. The KC1 compressor. Let's see, Kiev KC1. Is it worth it? Let's see what you're talking about here. So it's a tube compressor, and it is... what was Q got set a stage of lead vocals, blah 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 blah. All right, tube comp, creative market, exciting, subtle nuance, slamming drum kit, blah blah blah. All right, so what do we got here? Looks sick. Looks like a tube compressor. I mean, I can get, you know, a lot of this stuff I can get with like a Manley variable mu, pulsar mu. The CL1B Tube Tech, I have all that, the MK2. So I'm not sure I need that, just because I have all those tones already. But anyway, let's get back to this. So I have these right? Let's go back and forth to the reference just to see. And this is why I like a reference, is because I want to hear where he has volume levels, right? Like, am I going to send him something back where the are too low? And then he's like, yo, turn those up. I don't want that note. So let's hear it. Yeah, those are really loud in his mix, right? So let's make sure those are at least at that level in our mix. So these motherfuckers down here go like this. And also, sometimes instead of just turning something up, I will just throw a compressor on it so I can make sure that it stays there. You know what I mean? Take the attack down a little bit, release pretty fast here, and we'll go for like 3 dB of compression or so. Yeah, so the 1176 is just giving it some level. That's all it's doing. I'm not even compressing with it. It's not even needed. So that works great. Love that. And if you don't want to, use the extra resources of that, you can always use like a just a gain. Just gain it up if you wanted to. Like for example, let's bypass this. Take these, grab them, go up to region box, and just gain these up like maybe 3 dB or so. And now we've hit these with some gain. Let's see. Perfect. Don't need anything else. Another thing, I don't like the channel EQ in Logic. I think it sounds like shit. I'll be real. Like, so he's got this at like 1K. He's doing some crazy shit here, but let's bypass it. Okay, so really what he's looking for is like that lo-fi effect, right? And that's pretty easy to achieve by simply getting rid of all of our plugins. Tremolo is cool because I think it's like giving the panning effect kind of thing. And let's go with like a lo-fi plugin, like straight up. Just go to like XL Audio, Retro Color, and then you can use a couple things here. I'd start with a preset, maybe Vinyl 2 is good. Turn off the noise, turn off the wobble, use the distortion, focus in on that range that he's focused in on, right? Flux capacitor, and let's kind of filter the top and the bottom, and we can go a little bit wider, and let's hear.
Prayed to God. Prayed to God.
Much better. And this is kind of like a dirty, dirty hi-hat kind of vibe. Guitar swell bus. I feel like we can get these swells sounding better. Also, let's hear in the reference how loud these are, because I do want to hear that. Okay, they're just a little bit more pokey, I feel like, in the reference. So let's hear, or let's try taking those guitars, this swell, this motherfucker, and let's mess around with, okay, this is the reverb. Let's mess around with this, where do we got it? Where do we go? Pulsar. Grab this Primavera. And just give it just a little bit of this. Oh, that's not going to matter. We're going to go preamp and a little bit of presence and a little bit of roll off there. A little bit of high pass up to there. Something like that.
Prayed to God.
This is way more vibey than the Valhalla on these guitars. Like A/B this, right? And you have this like vibey kind of driven with like a little twang to it because it's spring reverb versus the Valhalla. Let's just hear it. And the volumes are going to be different probably. I love that overtone, that like it's so like just vibe. All vibe right there all day long, baby. All right, let's hear that.
I prayed to God. To God.
You know, what'd be cool also is like make those like make them kind of feel like behind your head sort of thing. Let's try something like that just to make them like kind of come out of the speakers more. And if you guys aren't listening on good headphones or like a good listening environment, it's going to be hard for you to like really enjoy this live stream as much. But yeah, I think there's some ideas I have here. So there is forget who it is. It's Berserker Brower Motion. Here we go. So Brower Motion has some cool shit in here. This is kind of like a 3D panner, which I just think is really fun. And you can do some cool like panning movements and stuff with it. I want to go like moving pads, phase guitar, throw me around. Throw me around might be a cool idea. But you have to pay attention to some things here. This is like, make sure you're synced. I think syncing it is the best way to do it.
To God.
Yeah, it's a little fast on the motion in the panner, so you want to make sure that you're not going crazy with that. So the mod delay, is it that? No, bars, maybe like one bar here. Let's try this.
Prayed to God.
So that does some cool stuff, but you can just like run through some of these presets. Synth pad movement. So that's kind of cool. I like that. It's kind of like doing this. There's like this thing happening where it kind of comes behind you a little bit, which is really dope. You can also do some fun stuff with like pre-delay and everything. I'm not going to get too carried away on these right now. That's really not that important. But what is important is the vocals. So let's get to these vocals and talk about where we're at with these, because I feel like the beginning is pretty balanced and feeling nice, right? Like it's, you know, comparing that intro to the reference, I feel like we're getting a much bigger upfront. It's starting to feel more like a record.
I prayed to God.
All right, so we're getting some overs, and you can see the overs are happening because the sends and the parallel buses and things like that are not routed yet, right? So you have these, I don't know what this is, an amp sort of thing going on. We can kind of check these out and see what they are. All right, so that's kind of that room reverb sort of thing for the kick drum. So we want to make sure that goes to the all drums bus. So that's like a parallel effect for the drums. So we'll go to all drums. Make sure it's going through our mix bus. And then let's get a little deeper into the mix and see what else we got.
I prayed to God. Never prayed to.
All right, cool delay. I like this. The Echo Boy delay with a little channel EQ doing some sweeping. I think that could be a vibe. So let's do this. Let's color it. Any of our effects returns, we want to color this like kind of magenta teal, I'm sorry. And then we want to take that to the all Vox, right? Because that shouldn't go through the mix bus, the Vox mix. It should just end up at the all Vox. All right, and then that's going to be louder, of course, because now it's going through our master bus, so we got to be careful with that as
well. God before I made my bed on the floor. Say your goodbyes.
All right, these all seem like vocal effects. Any effect again, bam. So these are effects returns. I think this is as well.
So now I'm sleeping on the floor. Say your goodbyes. Settle your debts.
All right, so those are going to go to the all Vox, which is going to then end up at the master bus. So now our vocals are going to sound much more affected because they're going to be brought up in level from the master augs, right? Because you have harmonics, you have limiting going on, and even EQ going on the God particle on the master. So you have to be really careful once you start routing things to rebalance things as well. So let's check.
Prayed to God. I've never prayed to God before. I made my bed, so now I'm sleeping on the floor. Say your goodbyes. Settle your debts.
I think the vocal sounds really cool. It's like kind of fat and distorted sounding, but there's like something weird there. There's some sort of clashing frequency thing that's happening that kind of sounds phasey to me. So let's investigate. What do we have for the lead vocal? We have a lead vocal verse dry, and then it looks like a duplicate of it. I'm not really sure. So this is the dry and this is the wet. Interesting. Let's check it out.
I prayed to God. I've never prayed to God before. I made my bed, so now I'm sleeping on the floor. Say your goodbyes.
That's an interesting way to do it. I don't know. I think it's like when you put them together, they're like building up a certain frequency that I don't like. And it's very subtle. It's not a whole lot to where I'm going to go like, oh shit, I need to go and like carve the hell out of this. But I do want to figure out how we can make these work together better. And I see these are both going to the Bus 51 Vox Mix Bus. But I'm wondering if, yeah, these leads then end up doing another thing here. So we have a chorus dry wet. Let's hear this.
Under my skin, color fading, color fading, color fading.
It's interesting. I don't mind it. I think it's actually working for what he's looking to do. This being the dry one, it feels like this is the dry, and then this is the dry here. Let's put this one on top. This says wet, but then the stem says dry. So I'm kind of confused by that. Let's make sure that we have these labeled right.
I prayed to God. I prayed to God. I prayed to God.
All right, I was trying some key commands, but they're not working. All right, so verse dry here and verse wet. I feel like the vocal tone that he has is very deliberate, so I'm not going to mess with that too much. What I am going to do is take these both to the vocal mix bus, and I'm going to put a couple things on here to work with, right? See if we can improve just a little bit of that chunky area and give a little bit more glue and intelligibility to the whole vocal in like overall, right? So first off, I'm going to do Fab Filter, Pro Q3, or any EQ right now to figure out what that, and I think it's really just like a 400 to 800 area.
I prayed to God. Never prayed to God before.
Yeah, that 500 area really kind of builds up just a little bit. So I'm just going to tuck that back just a touch. And then on this, because his vibe is really cool on this, I don't want to add more color, right? That's really important. So I want to just give it like a really, really clean compression that holds things together a little bit. So what I'm going to do is use the UAD, where are we? And I just want to smooth it out, just a touch. It's a little bit, you know, that's okay. It's just a little much. I'm going to find what my tube tech probably, like something really, really chill. You know what I mean? Actually, a LA3A would work really good for this sort of thing, or even an SSL compressor, but I want to do a tube tech. And I don't see it. Where is it? CL1B, tube tech. Here we go. Let's go fucking find my shit. Where's my shit, man? Where's fucking my shit? I know it's like labeled something else. I'm just not seeing it. Maybe it's a soft tube. Yeah, here we go. Soft tube vocoder. Nope. Come on, bro. Here we go. Tube tech. I just saw it. There we go, CL1B. All right, so MK2. We're going to take this and we're just going to give some really, really light, gentle compression. And what I like to do that is go to fixed and manual, this kind of attack release select, where you get the best of both worlds. And we're going to attack right where it's at. I think that's a good starting point. And the ratio, this is where I want to go, like maybe 2.5 to 1 or so. And then we'll bring the threshold down. And we might even use parallel compression on it.
I prayed to God. I've never prayed to God before. I made my bed, so now I'm sleeping on the floor. Say your goodbyes, settle your debts. You belong to this world now. Get used to it. You're so heavy with your heartbeat. Keep it buried under your sleeve. Then there's nothing left to lose without it. You're so hollowed out and shapeless, like a shadow with a face that's always staring back at you. Haunted by the little things you say when you're under. I prayed to God. I've never prayed to God before. I made my bed.
Dope. Sounding awesome. So that 3K area, so see, I'm just doing little stuff here. And I don't want to sweep out the bottom because I feel like I'll lose the weight of the vocal there. But that 3K area, what I want to do on that is I want to use, after the tube tech, I want to hit this with just a touch of Pultec, or even Neve. This could be good too, like a 1073. This could be great on it. So we'll hit this with like a 3.2 here and just push that just a touch, right?
I prayed to God. I've never prayed to God before. I made my bed, so now I'm sleeping on the floor.
And we have that sleeping on the floor. That S is kind of killing me there. I don't need to de-S it. I just need to, I will de-S it because I'm lazy right now. But so right after the tube tech, let's hit it with de-esser. Let's do the Fab Filter, Pro DS. You see how little like the moves are that I'm making, right? Like hopefully this is all like settling with you nicely. Like you're like, oh, he's not going crazy and like doing crazy shit. I'm just trying to make it sound more like a record. It sounds good. This is a good recording.
I prayed to God. I've never prayed to God before. I made my bed, so now I'm sleeping on the floor. So now I'm sleeping on. So now I'm sleeping on the floor. So now I'm sleeping on the floor. So now I'm sleeping on the floor.
Ooh, that is a mean S. It's like a whistle. It's like he's whistling his S there. So let's get in.
So now I'm sleeping on the. So now I'm sleeping on the floor. I'm sleeping on. I'm sleeping on. I'm sleeping on. I'm sleeping on. I'm sleeping on the floor. I'm sleeping on. I'm sleeping on. I'm sleeping. I'm sleeping on. I'm sleeping on the floor. I'm sleeping on the floor. Say your goodbye.
Really hard to get rid of S's when you're dealing with like a wet print. because you don't want like the effects to feel like they duck, if that makes sense. Like it could be really jarring to the ear if you do that, right? But it sounds cool, like it's a vibe. I just don't want it to whistle so much because it was whistling pretty crazy. Another thing you can do is on the all Vox bus, which I a lot of times just do just for safety. The all Vox, I might do like a soothe 2 or something, just to get those overs, just to get those little things, right? And I like to go to the vocals or mastering, and you can find like invisible de-esser, harsh Vox start, voice of God, Jason Joshua, and you have this like area that it's really just kind of taming.
I'm sleeping on the floor. I'm sleeping on the floor. I'm sleeping on the floor. Say your goodbyes. Settle your debts. You belong to this world now. Get used to it. You're so heavy with your heartbeat. Keep it buried under your sleeve. Then there's nothing left to lose without it. You're so hollowed out and shapeless, like a shadow with a face that's always staring back at you. Haunted by, settle your debts. You belong to this world now. Get used to it. You're so heavy with your heartbeat. Keep it buried under your sleeve. Then there's nothing left to lose without it. You're so hollowed out and shapeless, like a shadow with a face that's always staring back at you. Haunted by the little things you say when you're on the floor. Say your goodbyes. Settle your debts. You belong to this world now. Get used to it. You're so heavy with your heartbeat. Keep it buried under your sleeve. Then there's nothing left to lose without it. You're so hollowed out and shapeless, like a shadow with a face that's always staring back at you. Haunted by the little things you say when you're say your goodbyes. Settle your debts. You belong to this world now. Get used to it. You're so heavy with your heartbeat. Keep it buried under your sleeve. Then there's nothing left to lose without it. You're so hollowed out by. Settle your debts on the floor.
There's this like peaky, sounds like a cheap microphone capsule thing that's going on in this specific vocal that I'm really not liking. And this might be something that I start to treat with like a multiband or something, but I want to find that frequency. It's like really tinny sound.
On the floor. Say your goodbyes. Settle your debts. You belong to this world now. Get used to it. You're so heavy with your heartbeat. Keep to lose without it. You're so on the floor, on the floor. Say your goodbyes, settle your debts. You belong to this world now, get used to it. You're so heavy with your heartbeat, keep it buried under your sleeve. Then there's nothing left to lose without it. You're so on the floor, say your goodbyes, settle your debts. You belong to this world now, get used to it. You're so heavy with your heartbeat, keep it buried under your sleeve. Then there's nothing left to lose without it. You're so on the floor, say your goodbyes, settle your debts. You belong to this world now, get used to it. You're so heavy with your heartbeat, keep it buried under your sleeve. Then there's nothing left. I prayed to God, I've never prayed to God before. I made my bed, so now I'm sleeping on the floor. Say your goodbyes, settle your debts. You belong to this world now, get used to it. You're so heavy with your heartbeat, keep it buried under your sleeve. Then there's nothing left to lose without it. You're so heavy with your heartbeat, keep it buried under your sleeve. Then heavy with your heartbeat, keep it buried under your sleeve. Then there's nothing left to lose without it. You're so hollowed out and shapeless, like a shadow with a face that's always staring back at you. Haunted by the little things you say when you're heavy with your heartbeat, keep it buried under your sleeve. Then there's nothing left to lose without it. You're so hollowed out and shapeless, like a shadow with a face that's always staring back at you. Haunted by the little things you say when you're heavy with your heartbeat, keep it buried under your sleeve. Then there's nothing left to lose without it. Heavy with your heartbeat, keep it buried under your sleeve. Then there's nothing left to lose without it. Heavy with your heartbeat, keep it buried under your sleeve. Then there's nothing left to lose without it. You're so hollowed out and shapeless, like a shadow with a face that's always staring back at you. Haunted by the little things you say. Heavy with your heartbeat, keep it buried under your sleeve. Then there's nothing left to lose without it. like the shadow with the face that's always staring back at you. Haunted by the little things you say when you're under my skin. Heavy with your heartbeat, keep it buried under your sleeve. Then there's nothing left to lose without it. You're so hollowed out and shapeless, like the shadow with the face that's always staring back at you. Haunted by the little things you say when you're under my skin. Heavy with your heartbeat, keep it buried under your sleeve. Then there's nothing left to lose without it. You're so hollowed out and shapeless, like the shadow with the face that's always staring back at you. Haunted by the little things you say when you're under my skin. Color fading, you twisted your knife one too many times, but I let you under my skin. Heavy with your heartbeat, keep it buried under your sleeve. Then there's nothing left to lose without it. You're so hollowed out and shapeless, like the shadow with the face that's always staring back at you. Haunted by the little things you say when you're under my skin. Color fading, you twisted your knife one too many times, but I let you under my skin. Heavy with your heartbeat, keep it buried under your sleeve. Then there's nothing left to lose without it. You're so hollowed out and shapeless, like the shadow with the face that's always staring back at you. Haunted by the little things you say when you're under my skin. Color fading, you twisted your knife one too many times, but I let you under my skin. Under my skin. Color fading, you twisted your knife one too many times, but I let you under my skin. Under, hollowed out and shapeless, like a shadow with a face that's always staring back at you. Haunted by the little things you say when you're under my skin. Color fading, you twisted your knife one too many times, but I made my bed, so now I'm sleeping on the floor. Say you're good.
All right, sorry, I'm just like, going in on it a little bit and spacing out a little bit. But, yeah, I'm just paying attention to what he's doing and, like, kind of, I think he's overcooking some stuff. And these channel EQs on all this stuff is just kind of like making phasey, weird stuff happen. And I don't like that stuff. But, yeah, darkening guitars, getting things thick, punchy, in your face, aggressive. We're getting there, you know? I'm going to take an ear break just because I don't want to get lost in like the sauce of this, but you know, it's getting there. It's really getting somewhere. And, I'm excited about this track. I think it's always fun to mix stuff that's played well, orchestrated well, you know, arranged nicely and like makes sense and is a good song. Hey, thanks, man. Appreciate that, Douglas. That's what's up. If you guys haven't already, check out my music if you want. You know, you can hear some stuff that I like produce, write, mix, master, go all the way from start to finish with. Yeah, man, this song's dope, huh? I really like Maudlin Strangers. I think their shit's really dope. If you go to Spotify, you should check out their stuff. And you know, the last records that I mixed and mastered for them is going to be, let's see, Don't Worry I'm Fine, their #1 song. Yeah. So Don't Worry I'm Fine, I mixed and mastered that one. And then I'm Not in the Right Mind. So those two are the songs that I've mixed and mastered for them. And this will be the third song I've done for them. Here, I'll play you a little bit of Don't Worry I'm Fine. So yeah, that's the last song I mixed for them. But let's just A/B this real quick and see where we're at. And then I'm going to get out of here. And thanks for tuning in, y'all. Appreciate y'all. And if you want to support the channel, you got something out of this live stream, you know, you got a tip, a piece of advice, whatever, feel free to tip me with a little, I think it's like on the right or the left, and you'll see a little money symbol at the bottom. Buy me a beer or something, you know what I'm saying? I do all this for free out of my pocket. I could mix these a lot faster without explaining shit, but I do it for you guys. I want you guys to learn stuff and grow, and I want to build a community here. That's really the number one thing. So let's hear the reference, and then we'll A/B it against what I have so far right here. Make sure that we're on the right track.
Prayed to God. I've never prayed to God before. I made my bed, so now I'm sleeping on the floor. Say your goodbyes, settle your debts. To God, I've never prayed to God before. I made my bed, so now I'm sleeping on the floor. Say your goodbyes, settle your debts. You belong to this world now, get used to it. You're so heavy with your heartbeat, keep it buried under your sleeve. Then there's nothing left to lose without it. You're so hollowed out and shapeless, like a shadow with a face that's always staring back at you. Haunted by the little things you say when you're under my skin. Color fading. You twisted your knife one too many times, but I let you under my skin.
I think we're on the right track. I think the drums are pretty loud and a little bit too aggressive, so I got to kind of soften that out so that we keep the vibe of what the song is, which I think is a little bit more gooey. I got those drums just smacking, you know what I mean? They sound great to me, but it's also a matter of making sure that we have on the verses those drums kind of like, you know, a little bit darker. And then maybe on the chorus, when that opens up, we have a great drum tone for that. That's where we go, ba 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 ba, you know, we open up. So fun shit. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys liked it, share it, subscribe to the channel, show love. Don't be little tiny baby assholes. Be nice, be kind, and show love, because, you know, I'm trying to show y'all love. Yeah. I love you. I love you. Peace.